This is Beijing's new airport, Beijing Daxing, and it might look like a regular airport from the outside, but when it opened in 2019, it actually became the largest single building airport terminal anywhere in the world. This thing is absolutely massive. It's 700,000 square meters inside. A lot of airlines have actually moved their business to this airport from Beijing capital. It had 4 runways already built when this thing opened. And my favorite fact though about this new airport is not its size, it's not the airlines that operate from here, it's the fact that if you look at it from above, this thing is modeled around a giant starfish. And if you're hoping they use that whole starfish hook as a thing, is there like a theme when you go inside? If that's what you want, you're not going to be disappointed. I'm flying internationally across to Japan today, so I'll show you the international side of this airport terminal when we go in there. But just before we do, I have to say this one thing. I've been here once before, and the security here at this airport is extreme, to say the least. There's security everywhere. Security guards out here in the taxi area. There's a security check to actually get into the airport, not to get into the secure section, but just to actually access the airport. It's a very highly protected and very secure environment, which is great for aviation. That's what we want. But you know, there's a level, and if you are coming here, do give yourself a little bit of extra time because of all those additional security checks. It can take a while to do what you might think would be a quick trip, like from getting outside the airport to inside the airport. That can still take a bit of time. It also means filming is a little bit tricky. So if you're like me and you like filming your travels and adventures, just be conscious about having a big camera when you're inside there, because sometimes the staff don't like it. Saying all that, I'm going to do my best to see how much of this I can film.
Air travel in China is actually increasing at a pretty steady rate now. It's not only back to its pre-COVID levels, but for the last 2 years in a row now, more people have travelled by air domestically in China than any other previous years on record. And as Beijing continues to grow with a total population of well over 20 million people, a second airport was required to help relieve the stress of the existing Beijing Capital International Airport that's previously served the city. So an 80 billion Chinese yuan, that's around 11 billion US dollars, airport construction project was proposed back in 2008. Construction started in 2014 to build the 700,000 square metre airport terminal, the largest single building airport terminal anywhere in the world, that sits on a plot of land that takes up just under 50 square kilometres. And they built this airport in just 5 years, because in late 2019 the new airport was officially opened and the first commercial flight into Beijing's airport landed the very next day.
The layout here then has got the international and domestic not side by side like you do see traditionally in a lot of airports, like at Melbourne, for example. We have our international terminal, then next door to it is the Qantas domestic and so on, and you basically go all the way along the building. Whereas here what we have is international check-in, you can see is behind me, and domestic is below it, which I guess makes it easier for things like shuttle bus pick up and drop off. You're not having to walk a long way when you actually leave the airport to find the shuttle buses or the taxi ranks. And you don't have to have multiple ones of them, so there's not multiple taxi ranks, like one at domestic, one at international. Because everyone's going up and down a level as opposed to side, everyone's leaving through the same doors. And so it just makes it a little bit easier, I think, to get in and out of the airport.
After spending a little bit more time exploring the airport and looking at the airport diagram in a little bit more detail, I actually realised that the split levels in this airport aren't simply divided into international and domestic. To cater for not only a planned increase in travellers that China's expecting over the next few years, but also the different travel experience levels that those passengers will have, this airport was actually designed to allow check-in for flights from multiple levels based on how those passengers actually want to check in. For example, the top level where I am is actually a mix of international and domestic. But the lower level was created for those domestic passengers, people who are more frequent flyers, who are happy to check in using their phone, and are comfortable using kiosks to print off boarding passes and bag tags, attach that to the luggage themselves, and then use automated bag drops with facial recognition to check in for their flight. Now, I love this idea. It's like they've set up a fast lane for those who are happy to manage the whole process themselves, but still allow those who are less technically savvy or those who might have more complex check-in requirements to use a more traditional staff check-in in the upstairs levels.
Just pass through security then. I've said this before about going through some of the Chinese airports, and this is just an observation more than anything else, but the security incredibly tight, especially the security coming through here. So my bag had to go through a couple of times, checking lithium batteries, power banks, all that sort of thing. but the wanding that I got from the security agent, I mean, we'd only just met, and that was very, very thorough and somewhat intimate. I feel like I have to call my wife now and tell her what just happened. But when you finish in security, you walk across this very cool bridge that links the security to the immigration section. And once we've gone through immigration, then we can have a look around the terminal. But obviously, I can't film this next bit. And now I'm through immigration and into the main area where all the gates are. All the shops are down here as well. Some of them don't seem open, and it also doesn't seem very busy, and I'm not sure whether that's just the day that I'm here or whether there's not as many people still using this airport, whether people are still using Beijing's other airport, Beijing Capital, or just one of those things, I don't know. But look, as you can see around me at the moment, very, very empty, despite the fact that this is like literally just as you come out of immigration. This is one of the first points you come to. Well, it is if you're an av geek and you want a view like this. This is actually a little bit bizarre now, to be honest, that there are so few people actually here. I know this is an airport that's being developed for the future, and not every airline is actually operating out of here at the moment. And Beijing Capital is obviously a bigger and more popular airport, and probably because its location, a lot more people use it. But still, it's for an airport that's been open since 2019, I know we've had COVID between now and then, it does seem to be very, very empty. Which I'm not complaining about, because I do like a quiet airport. So let's go through the airlines that are flying out of this new airport in Beijing then. Well, first of all, China Southern, obviously that's who I'm flying with today. They operate out of here. China United Airlines, they're a subsidiary of Air China. They actually started moving all of their operations to this airport the moment that it was announced it was opening. China Eastern have moved some of their operations here, Xiamen Air as well.
In fact, as well as the Chinese airlines that you'd expect to fly to this new airport in Beijing, including China Southern, Air China, China Eastern, quite a few non-Chinese international airlines have now chosen to use this new airport as well. Looking on Flight Radar, you can see flights operated by Etihad, Royal Brunei, Aeroflot, Qatar, Saudia, and a few other non-Chinese based international airlines that have chosen to start operating flights now in and out of this new airport.
All right, let's take a look at one of the arms of the starfish thing. As you walk, is it an arm or a leg? I don't know if it's one of the sort of tentacle things of the starfish. See what we can find when we go right down to the end. Well, this is a first. I don't think I've ever seen something like this inside the security controlled area of an international airport before. What a very cool place just to come and chill out before a flight, get a little bit of peace and quiet, get a bit of fresh air as well, get out from the stuffy air conditioning inside, come and hang with the fish. This is actually really nice. This is really nice, very peaceful. There's not many people here either as well. It is 7:40 in the mornings I record this. So I imagine this could get a little bit busier, but still, if you come here and you can find a place to sit down, get some fresh air before a flight. I have to say, I'm wildly impressed by the design of this airport. I mean, we're traditionally used to having those rectangular boxes which are divided up into multiple terminals. So it's nice to see a brand new airport like this one here in Beijing, purpose-built for the expansion that it's expected to see down the line into the future, with the newest technology and a design that really makes you feel like you're in a very relaxing, peaceful, calm space before you get on board what can be the hectic process of air travel. It is a very, very impressive structure and a very impressive airport as well. And I hope that all airports in the future take a leaf out of Daxing's book and maybe start designing themselves around other animals. Check out this next video right here. I think you'll really like this one. Thanks for watching.